Good morning. First of all, today, of course, on this 11th Sunday in Ordinary Time, we want to recognize those in the room today who are graduating shortly and are here with their families. So I would ask the graduates if you would stand up, please, and face not me, but the congregation. Just stand up. Come on. Shy. Round of applause, yes. You can be seated. You can be seated. I'm so delighted to welcome you on behalf of our parish today, especially these young men and women. And, you know, today, this week, this time is graduation time, and so I hope these young people are feeling the pride that your family has in you, the pride that everybody has in you for your achievement. High school wasn't easy, and you've done very well, and we do want to applaud you for that because you've done so well. And everything points to your being successful in your lives. I think most of you are going to college, some are not. Some have other plans. What colleges might you be going to? So you see, I am going to make you speak. Where you, or whatever your plans are, because not everybody goes to college. So where might you be going? Lafayette. And where is that? Pennsylvania. To study what? Civil engineering. Oh, these kids are so smart. Behind you, the one hiding. Where are you going, or what are your plans? Castleton? Okay, where is that? Vermont. Great, great, wonderful. Behind. Siena. I went to Siena. It was great. A lot of beer at Siena. At least my memories are filled with that. Somebody behind. Somebody shout that for me. I didn't hear. Electrician? God bless you. You'll be loaded. I'd do anything to be an electrician. You'd be a millionaire today. Electricians. Yes? Massachusetts? Excellent. Hockey's pretty popular here. What about over here? Albany College of Pharmacy. Sometimes I need painkillers. Maybe you can. Siena. Good, good. Who's behind there? Anybody? Go ahead. Pharmacy? Great. Great, great. Vassar, lovely, lovely. Poughkeepsie, yeah, good. Who else? Who got left out? Oh, wonderful, the College of the Holy Cross. Phew, great. They're so smart, this younger generation, right? Just to let you know how dumb I am, when Matthew Duclos came last year, of course, you know, we elderly people don't know much about computers. So I sat him down. He's a whiz. So I said to Matthew, I have one question to ask you. What is it? He said, Father. What's the difference between downloading and uploading? Put his head down and cried almost. And then he taught me all those things. So we're a little dumb. But, you know, we are with you today in your promise. You got a great period of life happening before you. And one of the things I know when I went to Siena, the next 4 years, or even if you're studying for something else, if you're not going to be in a compact college, but just going out in life, I hope these next 4 years are ones of big exploration and open-mindedness for you. You know, you've come from good families, and you've come from Glens Falls, which, you know, Glens Falls is just a marvelous place to be. It still has some of the beautiful characteristics of what city life should be like. We tend to care for each other. It's a happy community. Somebody gets sick, somebody helps. It's a wonderful community to be in. And you're going to go out into a world which is going to be a lot different. And I hope you listen to it. By that I mean, I hope your mind is not so closed that you can explore every area of your interest, including what is life about, because you came from a family who has told you what life is about. What you got from your families, and good for them, family life's important, loyalty, honesty, working hard, your faith is important. They've told you. But if you're like most people, you're going to want to discover what life is about yourself. And I hope you plunge into that, because there are a lot of various views of what life is about. I'm not just talking religion. I'm talking about people who have practical ideas. And you're going to be in a world in which people have lots of different ideas about what makes people happy. Now, if you have been living and alive and smart over the last several years, you already have been infiltrated with different ideas. People have already told you about different ideas, and you know you're in a religion that seems to have it figured out. But when I was your age, I had lots of doubts. My parents thought religion was important, Catholicism was important. I wanted to be a nice kid and do what my parents wanted, but frankly speaking, I was pretty empty about the substance of this faith. So I hope you're sitting out there looking at me and saying, what is this old geezer saying? He has not a clue. Because inside, I'm not sure there's a God. And inside, I don't know where this evil comes from. And people are telling me that money is going to make me happy. Finding the right girlfriend or boyfriend is going to make me happy. I do believe there's some kind of God, but quite frankly, I'm kind of not sure. If that's where you're at, I, at least, get it. Because that's where I was at. And I have a hunch that most of your parents, although not everybody asks those questions, and that's okay, most of your parents were in the same boat. Now, today in the gospel, Jesus does something very interesting on this Sunday when you're in front of me. He says, faith in him begins like a mustard seed, a little tiny seed. And for those of you, we old people like to garden. You probably don't. But you know, you put that little seed in the soil when it starts getting warm, and all of a sudden there's a tomato plant or a petunia. It's a marvelous thing if you really take the time to think about it. We don't kind of know how it grows. Out of a little tiny seed, I get my tomatoes. And when you're old, you like tomatoes. So that little seed is what your parents placed in you. You got baptized. But I hope you're honest to say, I know the seed's within me, but it's not making sense to me yet. Plus, I'm going to go into a world where people are going to talk to me about a lot of other things than Catholicism. There's going to be all kinds of philosophies, ideas, directions. What am I going to do with this? I don't want to be a hypocrite, and I love my parents, so I'm going to try, but I don't know what to do with this. Well, I'm saying explore. Make sure you listen. Find out about Buddhists. Find out about atheists. Find out about anarchists. Find out about Native American religions, communism. Find out all about the isms. But don't lose the seed. The seed is there. And you are up against a lot if that seed's going to grow. We old people have seen kids like you with the seed, let it die. You know what a lot of older people my age are sorrowful about? It's the great cross of the older generation, just to share with you. We were raised Catholics. We believed it. And we tried to teach our kids that faith, to have that appreciation. And guess what? They don't go to church. They don't care even. Young people don't even know how to talk religious things anymore, so don't feel odd. I like to go in shops, and sometimes, last night we went out to dinner, Father, Deacon Matt and I, to the Gourmet Cafe here, and when we walked in with our collars, we were with a nun who was in a full habit. The waitresses and they got into a corner and started to giggle like we were circus freaks. So I said to them, you know, we wouldn't be freaks if you came to church. Come to church, you see this kind of stuff. They laughed, of course, they're wonderful kids, but they don't know. And if you're a middle-aged or older Catholic, you go to bed crying that your family, your kids who you love, have no appreciation for this stuff. Now, you've been convinced by the culture, because it doesn't speak about religion as a winning thing, that this is all quite odd and out of sync with being cool and with it and successful. You don't see good priests on television. What you hear about those stories of the creepy priests who committed scandals in the church. Pray for them because they have a lot to answer for. You see religious people being far right, fanatics. And you see the demeaning of religious people. That's part of our culture. And you've been convinced of that. Believe me, the propaganda of the secular world has succeeded in you, as it has even in me at times. This is stupid. That's what we're told. And yet, that little seed that started in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago has 1.2 billion Catholics in the world, not to mention Protestant Christians. Faith meant so much to so many people, yet America, the culture, the cool culture, it means nothing. And what it means is rebel, dissent, never obey, never conform, because anybody telling you to conform is really manipulating you. Be different, stand up against. And so you poor kids, if you want to say, and me poor priest who watches TV, we're constantly being told that. Now, what's going to make you happy in life? Here's our philosophy. There was a man 2,000 years ago who came from heaven called Jesus, and somehow he's got to make a difference, nothing else. You don't have to know the names of this vestment. You don't have to know everything about what we're doing here. You don't have to know all the things that we consider church. But somehow you have to have an encounter that God in Christ wants you close to him, and that he is God, and you are his child. Where you're going to find that, I must tell you, I don't know. Your search, hopefully, will find that. I met a few weeks ago with a rather remarkable young man. I can't say too much more because you'll know who he is. He's a young man in his 20s. We spoke about faith, and he held on to his faith throughout college, especially college when beer drinking and sexual experimentation is going on and all kinds of rebellion from family, which is kind of normal in some sense. He held on to his faith. I said, how did you hold on to your faith? And he said, well, I joined the Newman Club, which is a club on secular campuses for Catholic students. And I just went there, and we had dinners together, and I met a couple girls there, and the priest was nice, and I stayed connected, and it connected me. And I finally got it, Father. I finally got what the thing is all about. It's really all about God, that we belong to him, that he loves us, that in Jesus Christ God came to the earth. He came to the earth so that I could be a better version of myself, and he wants to go through my life with me. And he says, if you go through my life with me, you're really going to be happiest. Other things will make you happy, but deep happiness, no matter how much money we get, no matter how much fame we get, deep happiness only comes from peace of heart to surrendering and saying, Lord, you are God, and you love me, and I'm valuable, and I'm going to walk with you even though I sometimes don't believe and sometimes have sins. I'm going to walk with you and stay with you so that the mustard seed grows in spite of everything else that's trying to make it not grow. And that's what my hope is for you. I don't have the answer. You are going into a beautiful time of your life. And your family has placed a seed in you with the church. You got choices. It can die, or it can grow. Last night when I went to Gourmet Cafe with Father Matt and Father Hohenstein and this young nun I knew as a high school student in the Bronx. She went to Cardinal Spellman High School. She's 35. And she's visiting. She's a missionary in Tanzania. 35 years old, part of a religious order of nuns. I asked her about her mission. She said, Father Tom, our mission is to help people in the bush to get medical care, to come to know Christ, all that kind of stuff. And she said there are 3 sisters, 2 of whom are medical doctors. And I said, how in the world, her name was Esther before she became a nun, and I kept calling her by her name. I said, Esther, how did you hang on to this? So many of your generation, you're a nun, happy as a lark, normal, laughing, kidding. She said, somehow I picked up Christ. I don't know. It wasn't scary to me. He wasn't distant. I didn't let anybody teach me to stay away. I stayed with him. And because I stayed with him, this life opened up, and I followed it. She's no oddball. She knows all the things you know. But it's a challenge to stay with it. You've got to know the essential feature first, Christ and the simplicity of our faith. Don't be spooked by ecclesiastical and theological things. It's Christ who loves you. God made you. You're unique in the whole world. And if you have that, the mustard seed grows. It's tough times, but Jesus says to us, we don't know how. It's quite mysterious, but believe it or not, it'll grow. So we look to you today to keep your faith, to grow, to find good priests to help you when you need them, to stay away from all those who may not help you, to realize you belong in your church. You're as much of this church with doubts and questions than I am. This is your home. And always go back so that your mustard seed can be watered and grow, just as Jesus promised. I ask you to please stand now for our profession of faith.